My blog today is actually a combination of two blogs. First will be an earlier one about 15, 16 years ago, and the second will be an event that occurred about 4 nights ago. The first blog that I had already prepared involved a young teenager whom I visited on a house call. He was comatose, he had a stiff neck, he had a high temperature, and he was really out of it. I had him taken by ambulance to the Methodist Hospital emergency room. I told the nurse that I wanted to do a lumbar puncture, so she proceeded to get the equipment together, and she said, "You will need someone to hold the patient in proper position." I said, "Do you have someone?" She said, "Yes, I have a DeBakey boy." The young man came down, and I told him, "Your job is going to be to hold that position in order for me to do a successful lumbar puncture." I gave him the following instructions. We're going to bow the patient's back, and you put an arm around his neck and around his feet or around his knees and pull them together. So when it's properly bowed, makes it easy for me to insert the needle. I insert the needle, and fortunately, it went into the spinal canal without any difficulty. I pulled out the stylus, and a drop of fluid appeared. It was kind of milky, and I said to the DeBakey boy, "Do you see that fluid? It should be clear as water. When it's different color like that, that means he has meningitis." His response was, "What is the surgical treatment for meningitis?" Of course, meningitis is a medical disease, and there is no need for surgical treatment. Now to more recent events. About 4 afternoons ago, there was a talk given by Dr. Anthony Gatto of his experiences with Dr. DeBakey. When his talk was over and people were leaving the auditorium, my son Robert called me and said, "Come over here, Dad. I want you to meet Dr. DeBakey's son." That was Dennis. I immediately became alert. I wonder if this is a DeBakey son who, in 1965, had helped me with my patient with meningitis. We shook hands. I noticed his face was not resembled the face of Dr. DeBakey, so most likely he took after his mother. I asked him, "Did you work in the Methodist Hospital?" He said, "Oh yes, I scrubbed operating rooms. I took care of transporting patients. I did everything. Now I had to know, was he the only son who worked at the hospital, or were the other three involved? I said, Dennis, were you the only one working in the hospital at the time that I'm thinking about? He said, yes. My other three brothers did not want to work in the hospital. I shook his hand heartily. Do you realize it has been 15 years since we first met each other, and you helped me with my patient? It was a remarkable meeting. It was excited to me, though not as much to Dennis. I asked him if he would permit us to take his picture with me and Rob, and so he agreed. Quite an experience in my life.